In previous videos, we learned two different ways of making front-end AJAX requests to backend. The first one depends on XHR or XML HTTP request instance. The second depends on fetch API. Now we're in session 3.3.3. I'm going to show you my favorite way of making front-end AJAX requests. We're using Axios. So what is Axios? Axios is a third-party JavaScript library used to make HTTP requests from either Node.js or browser. In our case, we're making requests from browser. Axios supports the promise. This is similar to fetch API. Another important feature that Axios has over fetch API is that Axios performs automatic transforms of JSON data. So by using Axios, we as developers no longer need to worry about converting JSON data to JavaScript object or vice versa. Let's take a look at the website of Axios. This is the GitHub of Axios. As you can see, it's a very popular project because it receives more than 70,000 stars. So let's go to README. Axios is a promise-based HTTP client for the browser and Node.js. In this video, we're going to focus on how to use Axios in browser. Later on, when we talk about Node.js, I want to show you how to use Axios in Node.js. Here are the features of Axios. Axios can make XHR from the browser. It can make HTTP requests from Node.js. It supports Promise API. It can intercept all requests and responses. It can transform request and response data. We can also cancel requests using Axios. Axios support automatic transforms for JSON data. It also provides client-side support for protecting against cross-site request forgery. As you can see, all mainstream browsers support Axios library. How do we install Axios? If you're using Node.js, you can use npm install Axios. But in our video, we're going to use CDN. Simply just copy this script and paste into your HTML. Then you can use Axios in the script. Or you can go to this website and save axios.min.js and copy this JS file into a project and import it into your HTML. You can also use it. So let's take a look at some simple examples. We can use Axios to make a GET request, a POST request, a DELETE request, a PUT request. So here is how we use Axios to make a GET request. Axios.methodGet. And this is the URL of a servlet or maybe any service on the remote side. It's very similar to fetch. Is after the get, we have then, catch, and then. So the first then will handle the success. If the response is success, it goes here and will skip catch. Now if the request has some problem, then the first then will be skipped and we're going to handle the exception in catch. Either case, the last then will always be executed. Next, let me show you some examples in IntelliJ. Now I'm in 06 axios.html under web. I'm going to demo to you how we can use Axios to make a GET request to get 5 random jokes from Chuck Norris. So as you can see, the syntax is very similar to fetch API. We have a GET, and this one will return the response. I'm going to pass the response to the then method. And we're going to print response and also print response.data. I want to use to pay attention to the difference between response and response.data to see which one is the data we want. Of course, it's this one, right? But before this, make sure you import Axios library. You can use Axios min.js. So I go to the website and I download axios.min.js. I put it under web.js. So now I can have this source code here. So I will import it, but it will be simpler, simply just copy the CDN here, or this one. Let me go to browser. I've already launched my project. If I press 06 axios.html, as you can see, there'll be 2 outputs here. So the first one is response. As you can see, status is 200, it's okay. And we have headers, we have config, we have request. This has the data we want. So this part is the response. And this is the data in the response. That's why we're going to print not only response, but response.data, which is the second output. because this is the payload we want. Type success and the value has an array of 5 jokes. So to summarize, in order to get something, you want response.data, not response, because this one has some information you do not need. Data attribute contains the payload, the stuff we really want from the backend.